Good morning, beautiful people. Um, so today, one second. Airplane mode. Boom. All right. So today, the guys are out on a job site, and I have a customer who wants to come pick up these timber frame knee braces, and so I just wanted to hop on. I thought, you know what? Maybe my pals over on YouTube might want to see this. So we are assembling. The boys already fabricated, already milled and cut all of the parts for these knee braces for the customer, and I just need to get them assembled and then passed off to the customer. So, and I want to touch on a couple specific things, especially this wood owl drill bit, which is gangster. So here's the design that we're going with. We've got it broken down into parts, but here's the overall design and how it's going to be attached to the new construction house, and where we're putting all of our big timber screws, and then we'll finish with dowels. So just thought y'all might want to hang out for a minute and watch me put these together. These have got a huge, gosh, I can't remember, like a 5-inch arch out of it. These are we're 5x14s. These are 5x7s, and then our top cords are 6x7s. And these are resaws, which I told the customer, I was like, hey, we're going to use some resawn products. Since you're painting these, the finish, the way they look doesn't really matter. And he was like, oh, are they going to look good? Yada, yada. And like, I had to explain that actually resaws are coveted. They're better than, green timber or something that's freshly cut, because they've had time to dry. They've already been treated. This one's had a burn treatment on it, so it's really stable. And it's actually an even better product. So let's get these things put together. This one's already kind of started. We've got a 10-inch screw in here, which is going to go all the way through the brace and into the framing. 8-inch screw, 8-inch screw. And now I'm starting to assemble these other guys. A little clamp here to hold it where I want it. So when we're marking out our housings versus the timber that's entering that housing, we do plus a 1/16 of an inch, a 1/16 heavy. So you can see that there is a 16th of an inch gap on this side. So I'm going to knock that over and kind of center it within the housing. And 8. Gonna get loud here for a minute. This is our 1/2-inch Makita rattle. I call it a rattle gun. Eight-inch timber screw. These have all been pre-drilled. Top guy started. All right, that one's ready. What do you find folks doing on this, what is it, Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. So a little bit about solid building. We run a sawmill and a timber frame outfit, so we do everything from design all the way to install. The boys are out doing an install right now, and I'm trying to wrap up this assembly so that customers can come pick up these knee braces. Looks pretty good. Joint's fairly tight all the way around. We do allow for a small gap on the sides, like I said, 16th, maybe a little bit less. Dang, that's a big zit. This is the gap that we want to be the tightest. I want to get that thing as tight as possible. 10-inch, 8-inch, one more 8-inch. So I'm not driving this 10-inch all the way down because it's going to go all the way through the brace and actually into the framing of the house. But it is the first one that I want to set because it's coming straight down at a 90-degree angle and will hold this joint right where I want it. These other ones, the screw is at a little bit of an angle. So if I put that one in first, it's going to try and pull the timber that way, leaving me with a gap down at the bottom. So we want to install that 90-degree one first. Okay, that's not 90 degrees. That sucks. All right, looks like we were able to, even though that wasn't at 90 degrees, it still stayed tight. Whoever sticks with me in about an hour, you might see the customer show up. And whoever's here in about 30 minutes, you'll get to meet my puppy dog, which, whew, that's the best damn puppy dog in the whole world. A little bit too far. There we go. You guys are doing so good. Already got 3 of these assembled. Still got to put the top cord on, but looking good. Mommy, wow, I'm a big kid now. Little baby pieces of Sawdust can mess us up. Make the timber shift. Makes the joint look like crap. So I am so sorry about that. That was rude. Looks good. What do y'all do for work? Where you living at? What state? If you're in America. You know, a lot of states don't really have timber framing, or if they do, it's super expensive because you don't have big timbers. You know, not a lot of sawmills and stuff. Um, we're really fortunate. We live here in the Northwest. We're in Washington State, and we have monstrous fir trees that make beautiful Douglas fir timbers. So we're lucky in that sense. Northwest is gangster all the way around. Excuse me, just need this. A couple of these. Looking good. Give you guys a close up here in a minute. Okay. Bingo. So I'm going to drill a couple of these holes for you with the wood owl, but I'm going to do a separate like reel or short, because that's really what I wanted to showcase is this wood owl bit, man. It is freaking gangster. All right, so I've already got these laid out, centered up left to right, and they're up from this side point about 4 inches. So when we're doing true mortise and tenon wooden dowels, this is the best bit to use. But a lot of times, like in this situation, we're using timber screws, and then we just cap it. We fill that hole with a 1-inch oak dowel. And when we're doing that, for years we had been using paddle bits, because paddle bits are flat and you can mark on them easily, and we can tell how deep we're going. We can go exactly 1 inch or 1.25 inches or whatever we want to do. Whereas with a spiral bit like this, you can see that I've tried to mark it a little bit here. That's 1 inch. It's just more difficult to mark your depth, and so we didn't use them for a long time. But now that we have this wood owl, it's called like a triple smooth something or other. The difference is, see these little knives that come up on the side of each spiral? That pre-cuts the wood on the sides before the actual auger part of the bit gets into the wood, and it is so fucking smooth and clean. It's gangster. If you, I mean, I'm just using this little, regular drill, and it cuts right through this stuff, and it's got a perfectly clean edge. Works really good. Want to see? You can go slow with it. You can go fast. Now, if you're one of those gay boys, like an electrician or a plumber or something like that, you don't really care if the hole is perfectly clean. But as timber framers, we do. So they make other bits like nail chippers or just straight up augers that are fast, and they'll go through nails and whatever, but they leave kind of a gnarly cut. Whereas this triple smooth, whatever the heck, I mean, look at the edges on these holes. They're just perfectly clean. They're beautiful. So when we pop our wooden dowel in there, it's a nicely finished edge. You want, whoa, don't do that. You want the close-up, don't you? All right. Let's get you in there. Let's get you in there tight. You know what? Let's just come close to Dad, okay? Just come close. Yeah, there you go. So watch these little knickers. I didn't name them. That's what they're called, knickers, okay? With a CK, no G's in there, okay? Everything's fine. Everything's fine. The knickers will come in and score that wood, and that's what leaves such a darn clean hole. I can go slow. Look at that. I'll take it out. It's already cut a nice clean perimeter around the hole that I'm auging. I can go slow, I can go fast. This thing is so smooth. Wipe some of the shards away so I can see my 1-inch depth mark. I'll go a little bit past an inch. Just because when we put our screws in there, obviously the head of the screw has a little bit of height to it, so we go slightly over an inch. That way that screw sucks down tight to the wood, and when we put our 2-inch, well, it's a 1-inch diameter oak dowel, but we cut them at 2 inches long. That way it stays proud of the wood. We'll just put you one in. Oh, no, I can't put this one in. I'll show you one in a minute. We always pre-cut because we use a lot of dowels. So these are 1-inch diameter, cut at 2 inches long. And I can pop them in these upper ones. Golly, that's a tight, clean fit, boy. Woo! So we like to leave them proud like that. Just think it gives it a more of a timber frame look. And if you ever wanted to, if customers don't like it, then you can just use a dove saw and cut that thing off flush and sand it, and then it's like a plug, and you'd never know it was there. Especially because these customers are painting, which breaks my heart, by the way. To be honest with you, it breaks my heart. I hate to see. It still looks cool, but timber should be stained, not painted. Little tiny details, folks. We've been timber framing for about 3 years now. and we try and get a little bit better every job. Learn something off every job. Buy a better tool. Learn a different technique. Get more intricate on our designs. Little tiny details matter. People that are hiring us are millionaires typically, half of them, and they're paying for a showpiece. You know what I mean? These are all overly structurally sound for what they need to be, but they're paying for the art. They want it to be beautiful. So little details like this. I try and make sure all the grain on my dowels is heading in one direction. So on this one, you know what? I probably should have turned that so that it matched the grain of the wood. Should have done that. See, always trying to get better. But I keeping them all the same direction, left to right. We'll keep them all like that for now. But turning them to match the grain of the timber, that's a good idea I just had. Good job. You guys helped me with that. Look at you. You're basically timber framers. Yeah. Now it's time to put the top cords on. Drill one more of these holes. I'm going to save the other 2 holes for my other lover, Mrs. Instagram. So smooth. If I had to pick, though, I'd pick you guys. I'd pick YouTube. YouTube chicks and fellas are so much cuter. And what I've found is that YouTube is mostly about teaching. Instagram is more about showing off and getting likes. And Facebook is kind of more community oriented. And I don't even deal with TikTok. But I really like the platform of YouTube, and they are crushing it. Nobody's keeping up with them. There's there's nobody even in sight. The only thing I wish YouTube would do a little bit differently is somehow have some kind of direct message, because there's a lot of times, say another timber framer, I might have a question for them. I see one of their videos and I might have a question for them, and I have really no way of getting a hold of them. I have no way of saying, hey, what'd you do that half lap joint instead of a mortise and tenon or whatever? I can leave a comment on the video, but if they're anything like me, I don't go through and, I'll go through and read and respond to the first 10 or 20 comments. But if you've got 200-300 comments on a video, like, nobody's got time for that. All right, so it's time to throw these on the ground. We're gonna have to sweep up a little bit. One second. I'm coming back, don't worry. This is where we find out if all my math is right. Like I showed in the beginning, this is our final product, design of our final product, and assembly also, how we're putting all of our timber screws and dowels in. Blocking orientation for the framer. And then I break each section down into its mathematical form. That way the guys can pull those sheets off and start fabricating. One of our rules that we instituted recently is 2 people, no matter who it is, whether it's the fabricator and me and the mill guy, whatever, 2 people have to put eyes on all the math. Not the calculation, but the layout on the timber. Because if, these are small timbers, but if you make an inch or even a quarter inch mistake on your layout on that timber, that could cost us thousands of dollars. So 2 people put eyes on the timber. Oh boy. These are actually relatively small for what we normally do. These are only, sorry, just citing that. These are only 5 feet tall, 5'6", I think, once we get the top cord on. Um, we normally have them 6 or 7 feet tall, and this backstop here is like a 4x12 or something like that. We beefier, big beefy stuff. You gotta be beefy. But this customer wanted the profile to be a little bit thinner. Sand that down. We've just got a little protrusion from where the screw popped out, right there. Just gonna sand all those down real quick. Like I said, little chunks of sawdust or wood or anything in our way of that joint making 100% contact can make the joint look shitty. So you got to be diligent about what you're doing. All right, let's get these top caps. You can see the guys labeled these A, B, C, D. And you have to do that because all the joints in timber framing, if you really want it to be tight, you got to measure each one. Because the mill, we're as good as we can be, and we're trying to get better out at the mill, but it's a bandsaw that's 4 feet wide. You know, it's an 1/8 inch thick steel blade, 4 feet wide. It's going to do a little bit of this, you know, a little bit, 1/8 of an inch or so. And we're trying to have our stuff to a 1/16 of an inch or less gaps. And so when you're cutting in the housing down here, you've got to know precisely how wide and how tall this piece of timber is. And I do all my math to true numbers. Like if it calls out for a 6x6, I'm doing the math at exactly 6 inches by 6 inches. Okay. Just realized the guy's fucked up. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Oh, gosh darn it. So this design, this end of top core detail is supposed to be cut on the 7-inch side. Did I mark this out? No, guys did it wrong. Their fault. Son of a bitch. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Two people have to put eyes on all the math. Ugh. What's happening is this backstop is 7 inches wide. This top cord is 6x7. It was supposed to be done this way. That way, the 7-inch side meets up. But the guys cut the detail going the wrong direction. So I got to make a judgment call. I've got a 1/2 inch little stubby on each side. Do I recut all these top cords, or do I try and make this work? Shit. And such is being a business owner. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Don't even worry about it. These little mistakes, man. These little mistakes. This mistake here is either going to cost me about $250 in timber plus 2 to 3 hours of labor. So that's $450. So that's $500, $600, $700. Either this mistake is going to cost me $700 and I'm going to do it the right way, or it's not going to look right. There's nothing structurally wrong with it. It's actually structurally better this way. Motherfucker. These little things, man. This is what turn this day from profitable to not profitable. I'm so glad you guys are here to walk through it with me, right? Welcome to live chat. Why aren't there? I don't know why there's not. Because chats and questions and stuff aren't popping up. Whatever. Who cares? What do you think I should do? Should I try and make this work? One of the options. Are I do a little bevel cut right there to try and make. God, that's not. Son of a bitch. The math all looks right. That's cool. That's good. Looks like mathematically my triangle, what is it? Pythagorean theory or something is all proper. The mathematics look good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut this off. Appreciate you guys watching. I got to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do here. Main point of this video is just to show the knee braces and how we do our dowel system. So some timber frame joints are just done better with big timber frame screws, and then we finish them off with that dowel to make it look like it. And then also to showcase this wood owl bit, which is just flat out gangster, hands down, the very best bit I have ever used and purchased. So, and I paid for that. They didn't give it to me for free. So, you know, I'm telling the truth. Wood owl, ultra smooth. Yeah, wood owl, ultra smooth. If you're trying to do clean woodwork stuff, no better bit. So wood owl, send me some free bits, homie. I'll pimp you out. I'll talk some good talk. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I got to get back to work to figure out what the hell I'm going to do about fixing this. And we'll see you next time in the Solid Building Shop. God bless America and all that stuff. Bye.